What was he on about? My body, mister, come figure it out with the Sonnet Sisters.
Neighbours, Godspeed. Welcome to Sonnet Sisters. My name is Anna and today I'm going to be doing a cold reading of sonnet number 9. Spoiler alert, this is another procreation sonnet or fair lord sonnet. Is it for fear to wet a widow's eye that thou consum'st thyself in single life? Ah, if thou issueless shalt hap to die, the world will wail thee like a makeless wife. The world will be thy widow and still weep that thou no form of thee hast left behind. When every private widow well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look what an unthrift in the world doth spend, shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and, kept unused, the user so destroys it. No love toward others in that bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. I'm feeling the threatening undertones of Lady Macbeth again. There's a lot of pain in this poem, which I feel most in the penultimate line, no love toward others in that bosom sits. I think we say a modern equivalent of that when we're lashing out sometimes today. You don't have any feeling in your heart, you have no love for anything or anyone as a response to being hurt by something somebody has said or being rejected. Conceptually, this poem puts me in mind of a woman reaching out to a male friend of hers that she would like more from in their relationship and being rejected, and this is perhaps her response to his rejection. So she starts by questioning, is it for fear that you'll upset a widow's eye or me? It then goes on from line 3, ah, if thou issueless shalt hap to die, meaning I think if you happen to die without issue, so without follow-up, without children, without committing to somebody, without legacy, you'll fail on that count of not upsetting anybody because the whole world will be upset for you. Like a makeless wife, which I think probably means a wife without product, without child, that thou no form of thee hast left behind, so that you've left no remembrance of yourself in the form of a child. Lines 7 and 8 kind of fit with that sentiment. When every private widow well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind, which sounds to me like a justification, a kind of, well, everybody thinks this way, of course. Of course I should, perhaps, of course I should be looking at children and thinking about you and the children that we could have together. Look what an unthrift in the world doth spend. I'm not entirely sure of the literal grammatical implication of this line, but the gist, I think, is that it's wasteful. You spending your time on yourself and not on others, on reproducing. Shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. This line jars a little bit because it seems to imply that you'll only be disadvantaging or harming yourself by making this decision. The world will still be fine, it's only you that will be affected, even though it's mentioned quite a few times that the whole world will cry if he doesn't have some children. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, so this will come to an end, what you're doing, wasting your beauty, and kept unused, the user so destroys it. So you, the only user of your beauty, which is unused because nobody else is using it, you're destroying it in doing that, in keeping it to yourself. No love toward others in that bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. This final couplet is referring back to the last quatrain, the user so destroys it. If you decide to commit such murderous shame against yourself by destroying your beauty, by keeping it to yourself, you couldn't possibly harbour any love towards any other people because you hate yourself, you're so self-destructive. Lots of mentions of tears or crying in this poem. Wet a widow's eye, the world will wail thee, the world will be thy widow and still weep. The second big theme is death. A widow is a wife plus death. 3 mentions of wife plus death. murderous at the end. There's the use of the word spend, which has multiple meanings, including death. Hath in the world an end, which implies death again. Quite a pervasive theme. Potentially this should be said by a wife or somebody who could be in a wife role. So this feels like a very angry, painful, hurtful poem with a lot of scope for performing it with all of those things in together. And I think the scenario of two friends where one would like to develop into more than friends is where I'd like to take this performatively, but we'll see what comes out in the analysis. Let me know in the comments what you think of this sonnet, how it makes you feel, what you think it means, how you would perform it, and I will see you on Wednesday for further analysis. Until then, rest you merry.